Do you know what time it is? Welcome to the Legacy of Nerd. My name is Daniel, and today we are finally going to review issue 4 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return by Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson. And today I'm joined here with my lady Kat, who has been on our past live streams. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am really excited about this book. I've been looking forward to it. It was supposed to come out early May, and it actually got pushed back. I think they were like to try to savor it a little bit more. But now that it's out, oh my gosh, so many things have happened. So, as usual, we'll do a quick summary and then we'll go right into discussion and what this book may entail or possibly for the future. So, this book starts off with Olivia finding the morpher in Kimberly's house, the Dragon Zord morpher. She's trying to figure out how to use it. She does, and she ends up on the moon, like we end in issue 3. You know, Olivia's on the moon and she's like Green Ranger pose, right? And then she's like trying not to puke in her helmet because like she just like teleported to the moon like for the first time ever. So they get in a scramble. Olivia and Selena are fighting. They're all trying to figure out who Olivia is. So apparently, they kind of alluded to this. Nobody knew Olivia existed. This is the first time that they're finding out that she is even around. And they're like, that's Tommy's daughter. And they're all trying to grasp this while trying to escape their little energy bubble. So the Dragon Dagger was able to actually get them out and immediately, putty swarm them. So, Billy, Zach, and Jason are fighting the putties, and Kimberly and Olivia are fighting Selena, and Selena is like taking them out. It gets to the point where like, they drop the Dragon Zord morpher and Selena grabs it and she puts it in her machine. And right before like things are about to get going in the machine, Olivia like just like tackles Selena out of the machine and she's in it now, and it brings back the person that she's connected to in the grid, and we see the return of Tommy Oliver to this 30 years later universe, or 28 years later universe. He is like 18 to 22, somewhere around that, but he's young. He's clearly younger than all the other Rangers. They're all freaking out because Tommy's back and they are realizing like he was alive the entire time. Olivia is trying to fight with Kimberly to take down Selena, and Selena just like pulls out Trini's morpher, and we see like this corrupted evil version of the Yellow Ranger, which looks so good. It almost has like also like some undertones of Dino Thunder in it also as well, and but it just looks so good. Kind of like a Draken Yellow Ranger. Look, it's really really cool. So she's fighting them like she's a force to be reckoned with. They're realizing she's now got Yellow Ranger powers. She has Rita's powers. She has Zed's powers, and they don't know what to do. Olivia is clearly outmatched. She's never morphed before. She's never fought before. So she gives her morpher to Tommy, and he morphs up to the Green Ranger, and they do like a team pose, obviously minus Trini. Tommy's just trying there. He's trying to figure out the entire time, like, what is going on? Like, he's like, why are you guys old? Who is this person? Olivia, why are you calling me dad? Like, he's just like jumbled the entire time, but he realized there's a threat. They have to deal with it, and he's helping them deal with it until he finds out who he is fighting is Selena. And then he stops everything. And he's like, I am not going to fight you. I just, as far as I know, just a couple of moments ago, I saved you. You were a young little baby. You were innocent. I gave you my communicator so you could teleport off the moon. And that's why I didn't make it off the moon. And she's still saying, like, why, Rita hated you and this and that. She was like, Rita saved me. Rita pulled myself and her into the morphing grid. And that's why I'm here now. So he's like, I'm not going to fight you. And she just like freaks out or kind of has like a panic attack and just leaves. So it was an interesting little, like, we didn't really have the climax that we are looking for because this story is clearly not done. She could not grasp the fact that Rita had saved Tommy and that Tommy had saved her as a little baby as well. So we get back down to earth. They're unmorphed. Kimberly is like, Tommy, you're my husband. I don't care. You're 18 to 22 years old, and I am maybe closer to 50. And they're like, yeah, that's happening. And they're trying to figure out how things are going. Kimberly was about to kill Selena just to finish it all, and Tommy and Olivia had to like stop her. And this is going back to her time like killing Rita. Like she was ready to kill, and she's like thanking Olivia and Tommy and was like, you guys make me realize that these things aren't necessary. I was ready to do the extreme, but that's not always what is needed. She's like, I'm really done being a Power Ranger, but the Power Rangers should be around. And she gives her pterodactyl morpher to Olivia. So Olivia is now said to be the Pink Ranger. Tommy's trying to figure out like where he fits it in. They're like, you're the Green Ranger. You're the Power Ranger. You should be a Power Ranger still. And the other three, we got Zach, Billy, and Jason, and they're like, Billy's like, I don't know about being a full time ranger, but I'll be around when you need me. Zach is like, yeah, I'll do it. And then Jason was like, I almost need you, Tommy, because he kind of basically says like he's so far gone, he doesn't remember what Zordon taught him. So he needs Tommy to remind him about that. And then he says, I will be on the team as long as Tommy is leading the Rangers, which was an interesting little thing there. It cuts to the thing, and Olivia's like, the only thing we don't have is a command center. And they show Selena in the ruined command center. She's like kind of just like walking around and maybe kind of hitting stuff. And someone comes out the shadows, and it is a White Ranger, and appears to be a female White Ranger. And it just says to be continued. And that's it. That's issue 4. We're done with the return. That's how they leave us. Milady Cat, what did you think about this book?
It was insane. It was a complete roller coaster
Yes.
from start to finish. I mean, the whole series has been, right? But man, they just said, "You know what? Let's just put it all in here."
So I don't think that when they initially started to write this series, they ever had any anticipation of like this having a sequel, and it was always going to be a self-contained series. Now, a lot of you guys know, and I know Milady Cat knows, is that we talked to Matt Hodson, and he already had an idea for a sequel. And he kind of told us in that interview, he did tell us in that interview, there's going to be a tease for the sequel, right? If we get it greenlit. And that now is the thing, like it wasn't greenlit at the time. It seems to be it's greenlit now because we are not at the end of a story. We're in the middle of one. And this was very much the beginning. And now we're getting to that where we're supposed to get at. I did like that they addressed in this book that Olivia does not know how to be a ranger. Like this was like a very dire moment, emergency situation, and she was there basically just to get them out of the bubble, and that was the point of it. Had they gone any more like she's doing crazy things, like I would have been like, why? Like she hasn't. It's been clear she's not been trained for this. So that's one thing that I did like about the book. What did you think about Selena's Yellow Ranger suit?
Oh my gosh. I want to know how she was able to morph to begin with.
Yeah,
How she got connected to the power coin or corrupted the power coin, right?
it's kind of a new aspect because we've seen bad guys get the morphers before and not be able to morph or do anything with it. Goldar had taken the morphers plenty of times and never tried to morph. I think the understanding was the morpher was connected to the user, and they're like, we just saw it Once and Always as well. Like Min at the beginning of Once and Always tried to morph into the Yellow Ranger, and it wasn't working. Like she wasn't
Right.
chosen by the power coin. That is an interesting thing because it almost, I feel like that was another aspect of, well, but they seem to be kind of just trading morphers in this one. So we got Selena with the yellow morph, we got Olivia taking the Dragon Zord, and then she's just going to be taking the Peak Ranger, morpher now. So maybe it's a little bit less password protected. I guess is the best way to say. But I thought the suit looked really really good. They almost gave her like a little bit like of a white, diamond shield, which was pretty cool. The visor was red, very, very
Mhm.
dracony as well, kind of spiky all over. I like the way it looked. Definitely a good modernized suit, and definitely I liked kind of the aspect of the evil corruption. And it almost looked like it was like the helmet was mad at you at the same time, like even though it's not a
Yes,
face. I thought that was interesting. Do you think that Selena's gonna stay the Yellow Ranger?
that's a good question. I think she needs some sort of power source, like the power coin, because she's never going to give up on finding her mom.
Right.
So I think she'll stay as long as it benefits her.
I do think her origin and her, the story where it's going right now kind of almost alludes to like she may not always be evil. You know what I mean? And
Right.
she not necessarily has, or at least as far as we know, done anything to make her like go over the edge or anything like that, right? So obviously Rita and Zed killed Zordon and Alpha. That's
Mhm.
that's crossing the line. But has Selena done that yet? And if she hasn't done that yet, can we bring her back, and can she possibly be the Yellow Ranger that's going to fulfill the team there? These are reasons for her not necessarily to not be bad. You know what I mean? And to be good
Mhm.
instead. Yeah, but what do you think about Jason relinquishing leadership of the Rangers and being very clear about it to Tommy?
Well, he became a lone ranger for
Yeah,
the longest time. And I think being connected to a team is what he needs to be grounded.
yeah,
Um, when the Rangers they broke up, he didn't know what to do with himself.
right.
And so he wants to be able to continue to save people, but at the same time, he knows he needs help because that's why he stayed morphed, because he wanted to help everyone possible. He couldn't live with the fact that there are people out there that he couldn't help. So that's why he never like demorphed. But I think he knows he needs to recover.
Yeah, and they're very clear to say like he's had PTSD issues. He's
Mhm.
had, he's very dealt with when you have all the power but can't save anyone sort of situation,
Mhm.
and that's like a really real kind of uh, almost traumatizing like Superman kind of effect there, and I can see that now getting to the very last pages. Who do you think is the White Ranger?
Ooh. I think it would be really interesting if it was Alpha.
So we got a female alpha android in there,
Yeah, that would be interesting. But realistically, we know that the Z wave happened, right?
right? Well, just sort of. It happened a
Well,
different
did
way.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happened a
Okay,
different
so
way. So that's when they set off the Billy set off that bomb. And it was the whole concussive force, but it
right.
still was like a good energy wave. Yes.
Okay. Then that changes my answer.
So who I immediately thought it was is I wonder if that's Rita.
Right.
I wonder if that's Rita. And it would make sense that Zordon and Alpha were already working on the White Ranger
Hmm.
because obviously, they're having this big war and they feel like they need a power upgrade. Now, in the original series, they didn't have the Green Ranger and they said they really needed a Sixth Ranger and they created the White Ranger. We've seen it sort of in the comic books where they did the coinless world
Hmm.
where Tommy became evil and they created the White Ranger powers to combat Tommy, right? So, and obviously he stole them and merged them into himself. So obviously there was a reason here to create the White Ranger powers. Obviously the fight against Lord Zed and Rita had clearly escalated to the point where Lord Zed and Rita went and killed Zordon and Alpha. But um, that's who I kind of see in the suit, and that's the only other person I see maybe connected, unless it's obviously a character that we haven't been introduced yet. But I think a lot of these characters are some way connected to who we've seen. Um, I don't. Again, I hope it's not Scorpina. I think everybody's always like, it could be Scorpina when they see a female, but I don't want it to be. I want it to be Rita. I think that would be super interesting, and maybe a purified Rita because the bomb did go off.
Right.
So, what do you think? Rita?
Okay, so that was gonna be my answer, but then I wanted to change it.
That's but you know what? I mean, that's as Power Ranger fans, we are like, that would make sense, right? Because I
Mhm.
mean the bomb went off, she barely got into the morphing grid on time, maybe some of it and purified her, and somehow she found her way out. The only real question is here, why didn't she seek out Selena? Or unless she didn't know where Selena was. But still, like, you're a ranger, like I feel like you have resources. That would be the thing. Like there's clearly gonna be a part two. What would you want to see in a part two?
I have so many ideas right now, and I
Yeah.
don't know which one is actually able to pan out because I find problems with each of my theories.
I mean,
And
Tommy came out. He came out of the machine. That's where it was. As far as
right.
he's concerned, he went into the morphin grid and spent like a couple of days there, and came right back out. So the thing is, if Rita is the White Ranger, and she had already been there in the command center, unless she like came out the same
I
time
have a
Tommy
theory.
came out, what do you think?
I have a theory. Okay, so you know how in the TV show, The White Ranger, they had a whole secret room,
Mm-hmm.
right? and none of them knew what, like, where that was or going, like, what's going on. Okay, well, Billy's still been researching like all the stuff that's going on with the command center, right? Trying to connect to the grid and make a stable like energy source, right? What if he never discovered the White Ranger room? So at the same time that Tommy came out, because the White Ranger was still connected to the grid,
Oh,
Rita came out too.
just a different door.
Exactly.
And then she became the White Ranger, and then
Exactly.
she's just coming out now trying to figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
That
And
would
so
be cool.
that's why it's important that Selena was like throwing her hissy fit in the command center, because maybe she knew that something else happened with the grid, and so she was looking, and
It's a
that's why she was
possibility.
there.
That's a good question. Why would she go to the command center? That'd be the last place for her to go. That's a really good point. But and here's the interesting part about that. Let's add to that, right? She is corrupted. She is the corrupted Yellow Ranger. The White Ranger doesn't look corrupted.
It doesn't. So Rita would have to be purified.
She have to be purified. So, what are things that you would like to see in a sequel series?
Well, obviously I want the answer to that.
I want to see a Megazord fight. We never actually got the Megazord in this book.
But I don't think we will, because weren't the Zords destroyed? Didn't they say that at the beginning?
We got Tiger Zord now. Dragon Zord was never at the fight, and Pterodactyl wasn't at the fight. Obviously, Billy is very, very inept. So it sounds like if all the powers are enough powers are back now, maybe we can get reconstruction of the Zords. I would think that's cool, especially if before they didn't think that they stopped being Power Rangers because they're like Power Rangers no more. But now if they're like there's going to be a team, they're going to need Zords. So maybe he can create the 4 Zords that they're missing. The question is, does he recreate the Saber-Tooth Tiger knowing that Selena has the Yellow Ranger power?
Or does she create her own version of the saber-tooth tiger?
Or she does it herself. That would be
Because
interesting too.
Lord Zed had the ability to make a Zord, right?
Also, I mean, we have the White Tiger.
True.
It's suffice to say that, Zordon and Alpha were creating the Thunder Zords at this point too. And we just skip to the Thunder Zords.
Yeah,
That's a possibility as well.
Maybe they discover all the stuff that's going on in the command center that they didn't know about.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But I think we're coming to the end of our review. This has been an excellent series. I obviously I want more. Obviously they're going to give us more because that is just a to be continued question mark. Like, no, we're getting another series. It might be a little bit while, maybe another year or so, but it's clear that it's coming. Final thoughts on the series itself, Kat?
I was pleasantly surprised by the whole series. I was walking into the series unsure of where it was going and what to expect, and I definitely have been wowed.
For myself, I think some of the parts were predictable, especially as the issues went on. Especially, we had a feeling that Tommy would come back this way, especially, him being like very alluded to that he was in the morphing grid with Rita. Whether Rita was still alive or not was kind of the question after issue 3. But I'm really happy with this. I think they're starting something new here. I thought this was going to be a self-contained story. It is clearly the beginning of a story, and I really want to see where they go. We got like 2 new Rangers for sure. We got 3 new Rangers, and Billy's kind of on the fence on whether he wants to be a Ranger too. So it looks like we're going to get a new team of Mighty Morphin in some way or another. But yes, guys, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy the series? What did you think about issue 4? Let us know. What do you think about Selena? Do you think she will stay the Yellow Ranger in the sequel series, or they will reclaim the Morpher for themselves? And who do you think is the White Ranger? Let us know in the comments what you guys think. And y'all know what time it is. It's Morphin time.